Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max.
Welcome, everyone. We are the Geek Patrol, and our microphones don't have a stun setting. I'm Joe Thorderson, here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and Alan Gilbreth and Alyssa Diggs and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And I can see this is another organic. This will be an organic show. I can already sense it. But there's a theme emerging about individuality and creativity emerging here. So here's what I wanted to throw out there shortly for conversation. I was looking at a list. I think this might hold up for you guys as well. Some of the best movie experiences I've had over the last 6 months or a year. These are movies that are not based on a video game. They're not based on a superhero franchise or anything. These are like almost one-off. They're just a movie, like a good old-fashioned movie, okay, and a unique story. But Brandon, sounds like you topped them all with the one you're going to offer. So. But, hey, Max, did you say you had something before we get into our other things? I thought you did.
Didn't we have a discussion that he's supposed to run these by all of us before we go on the air?
I don't know, but go ahead. Did you have something, or was it a...
Well, I wanted to offer something real quickly. While we're on the topic of films, this week, we celebrated a very interesting anniversary that I'd like to discuss.
Okay.
Back in 1927, the very first movie to be awarded for an Academy Award and the very last silent film to be awarded for an Academy Award came out in 1927 by the name of Wings.
Alan was there on opening night.
Exactly.
Yeah, were you on the red carpet, Alan?
Okay. Wings.
He provided the paint for the red carpet.
Okay.
But anyways, Wings, what's really interesting about Wings is that it kind of set the precedent for a lot of other films that came after it, because like I said, it came on the cusp between two eras of the silent era and the sound era. And so Wings itself, at a time when most films were barely even grossed a budget of $1 million, had a budget of $2 million and $16 million in support when it came to having actual soldiers and trained pilots assist in the production. Jeez. And the production itself actually took place in San Antonio, Texas, in an Air Force base. And where things get even more interesting is the fact that Paramount wanted to cut their teeth in the whole war genre by we don't want to be like the rest of the companies that do films about foot soldiers. We want to take it to the skies. And so they chose an unknown director by the name of William Wellman, who was actually an ex-Air Force pilot in World War I for the Lafayette Escadrille, which was like the baddest of the bad in the French Foreign Legion.
Gosh, $2 million. I'm just thinking that's a big budget.
In 1927? That sounds crazy.
It was crazy.
What is that today's money? That sounds
about $34 million.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
And what's interesting about Wings is Wellman was quite the perfectionist, because he wanted to make it as realistic as possible to his experience back in the war. And so there was a lot of delays, even one time where it was delayed 18 days because he wanted to have the perfect clouds or whatever for his scenes, because he's like, when you have the clouds in the backdrop, it actually creates a contrast so that you actually see the planes better. And so it ticked everybody off having all these delays, to the point that they actually didn't invite him to the premiere of at the Academy Awards.
Wait, the guy that made the movie wasn't invited.
Exactly, because we understand why you did it, but we're kind of getting tired of you, Wellman.
Okay, so this guy, that would have been, he reminds me a little
a
of that.
Thing to do.
What was that one director that made it where they had to drag a boat through the jungle? Werner Herzog or something. So,
well,
all right.
The other thing about this that is still prevalent today was synchronized music.
Synchronized music.
AKA the music and everything was synchronized up to the action. It was a silent movie, but it had a soundtrack.
What?
It just didn't have any speaking.
Oh, see, I thought silent movies, you had a music pit, and at every theater you had musicians.
It had that too, but it also came at a time where it was a period of transition.
Oh, so maybe they didn't have the budget for that. Okay.
Well, just pointing out that,
all right,
a trick of this movie that is still very prevalent today is syncing up that music and making sure the sound effects and everything work where you want them to work.
And if you want to feel old, just think 100 years since the first. I mean, that just shows how far back it goes.
And what's interesting about this movie is it stayed in theaters for 2 years.
Well, back then, I mean, yeah.
And not only that,
Alan saw every single showing.
But what's kind of cool, what's kind of fascinating about this too, is the fact that it set I like the precedents that it set because they had a leading lady by the name of Clara Bow, who was just enough of a draw in order to get people to come to see the movie. But it also kind of helped to elevate unknown actors and everything. In particular, a man by the name of Charles Rogers and Richard Arlen. And what's cool about them is they actually had to get in the planes and learn to fly.
Like Tom Cruise.
Yeah, Charles Rogers actually had to learn how to fly. Arlen was a ex-pilot for the Canadian Flying Corps in World War I. But I just love the idea of creating something that's realistic, actually mounting planes to cameras and everything, which was unheard of at the time when you just shot it in the comfort of a studio. And, creating something that kind of defines the cinema history going forward.
Well, it sounds like a cool. I'm going to look that up on YouTube, Max. It sounds like a cool rabbit hole to go down. So, all right, Wings, simple name, and then of course they created that 1980s Goofy show out of it. So, but all right, hey, this is going to be interesting though because I don't know. I feel like there's a trend to maybe get away from franchise. Well, maybe not. I hope there is. But, during D23, there was no big announcement of this is the next 30 movies that we're putting out, right, Brandon? I mean.
Yes, there was.
I didn't see the big map. No, I don't think it was nothing like this is phase whatever phase. I didn't see that.
You didn't pay attention.
Okay. Well, anyway, I couldn't care less about that. I just want to move. I want to go to a movie.
Did you and I go to the same event?
I think we all did. I think Joe
What did I
said
miss?
another
I saw-
thing.
Joe, you
saw
turned
like a
left when you're
handful
supposed
of
to turn right
movies.
in Albuquerque.
I didn't see the big,
There's movies and series, and we talked about all the new Star Wars crap and all the new Marvel crap. And
I'm
all
talking
the
about
new
Kevin Feige. I wasn't talking about.
I am too.
All right.
Yeah.
They had
Anyway, I'm sort of bored with all that anyway, but
You need to get on a new show then, cause Geek Tank Radio, that's our bread and butter, buddy.
no, but anyway, but we were going to
We aren't
celebrate.
all active back in 1927 watching YouTube videos.
Well, we were going to celebrate individual movies too when we come back.
That's what
and
we're
then-
going to talk about today.
And of course, we will report on D23. So it's all coming up here next on Geek Tank Radio.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. Brandon Olmsted has a hobbit hole in his front yard. The Geek Patrol is back.
Those aren't hobbits.
Yeah,
Not
I've
this
been
time
down
of year,
there.
they ain't.
Yeah,
They're scary.
It's called a dungeon.
Well,
And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody.
You know, technically spooky season starts on August 1st now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we already know you've already stocked up at Spirit.
Dude, I've got 3 ultra posable skeletons showing up at my house today.
Okay. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmsted and Alan Gilbreth and Alyssa Diggs and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And it's like, it's okay. Well, Max, you should just, or no, Alyssa, where did you say they can watch this movie Wings?
Brandon said they can
Brandon
watch it on
said-
Tubi.
Yeah, Joe's just mad I yelled at him for not paying attention to the Marvel thing.
Well, he said this was a best picture of the year, and it
Yeah.
was sort of revolutionary, and it came out
Yeah.
in 1920, whatever it was.
27.
But seriously,
And
guys,
what's-
And the context of it is 3 months beforehand, Charles Lindbergh had completed his famous flight. And so everyone was in the flying mood.
Okay. All right. Yeah,
Yeah, don't
because
give
this
me-
was a point in history when planes are still pretty new. I mean,
Yeah.
it was a big deal. But Max, okay, not Max, Brandon.
Yeah.
Boy, I'm flummoxed today.
it's okay, dude.
Here's the thing. No, this is what I was gonna say. I'm growing to hate YouTube.
Oh, I can agree
Okay,
with you.
I didn't watch D23. I didn't watch any coverage, so I said I'm going to go on YouTube and I'm going to find out what happened. Well, by this one reviewer that I sort of respect, or at least I thought I did, they said, well, nothing much happened as far as Marvel. There was no big rollout of all the things coming. I knew about Agatha all the way in these few things, but they said, yeah, the old days of Kevin Feige getting up there and mapping out the next 10 years is over. And I said, oh, okay, that's interesting. And you corrected me. You said,
yeah, I mean,
you
it's-
can't trust
You're not-
YouTube people
yeah,
anymore.
You never could.
Imagine that.
Remember, let's remember the the Last Jedi debacle when you followed the YouTube rabbit holes.
Well,
It
that was just
not
to vent
good.
my anger, but yeah.
Right.
So,
No, the thing is that you didn't get this giant timeline where they've already where he's actually mapped everything. But they gave us big updates on the fact that there's still going to be a Blade movie. It's like they talked about it on the stage when we know it's never going to happen. But we talked about Agatha. We talked about Eyes of Wakanda, which is a new animated series that looks amazing.
Heck yeah.
They showed some weird stuff about that might go into the what if stuff, like the Infinity Scarlet Witch, stuff that's all gonna still be continuity adjacent, but stuff that you're no longer gonna have to watch 45 separate entities in order to keep up with.
It stands alone.
We got to see the first trailer for the new Daredevil Reborn series. We didn't get to see it. People at D23 did. They showed us new stuff from Captain America: Brave New World. They showed some new stuff from I have a list, but
well,
and it's more along the lines of, we didn't have as structured a layout as we did, but that's because since Jonathan Majors' arrest and his subsequent firing at Marvel, they've had to restructure everything they had coming out. Because there's no longer going to be a Kang Dynasties Avengers movie. They have to restructure, because the new Avengers movies are going to be Secret Wars and then Doomsday, which is Secret Wars will be the culmination of the multiverse storylines. But we're also going to get to see Fantastic Four First Steps, which takes place on a different Earth, but in the 60s. It's very confusing.
Which it should be anyway. We should see the 60s version.
And, of course, we've seen that there's all sorts of trouble in the void thanks to Deadpool and Wolverine, where they can basically pluck any character from any Marvel film at any given time and throw them back into continuity.
Interesting. So, okay. I don't know. I still can't picture Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards, though. I don't know. He just doesn't have that look or
I think that somewhere
attitude.
Deep down, Marvel was so unhappy that he is played Ultimate Dad and everything else, they had to make him one of the crappiest dads in the universe.
Yeah, Reed Richards is not a great husband.
He's
either.
not a great husband. He's not a great dad. He's
and he stretches.
He's a workaholic.
Who cares? Yeah. So, but the thing is, there was a day back, not even that long ago, where we would have heard this news and we would have been all over the internet. We'd have been excited. We'd have been turning cartwheels, and now I just kind of don't care.
Well, it is. It's
if it's good, fine. If it's not, I don't lose any sleep over it.
It's played out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think people want more of the old school traditional Hollywood. Hey, here's a movie. It was really good. We may never revisit these characters again kind of movies.
That's what I was hoping for. Okay, well,
I just saw Jackpot.
Yeah, tell us about that, because I've got a whole list here. Some of my best experiences have been
I'm ready.
one-off.
All right.
Looking directly at him.
And it's spoiler heavy, right?
I'm not going to be spoiler heavy but I am going to tell you every reason you should watch it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
Jackpot
starring John Cena, Aquafina,
Yep.
Simu Liu, your our buddy Shang-Chi.
Yep.
And then, you will recognize 90% of the rest of the cast.
Machine Gun Kelly.
Machine Gun Kelly's in it.
Taylor.
He acts. I didn't know that.
First of all, you can hate Machine Gun Kelly all day long for whatever reason, but he is so good in this movie.
Some of these musicians surprise you.
I'll be strong.
He is really good in this movie.
Watch it.
Okay.
But the storyline is that at one point the American government got to the point where we were so badly in debt.
Oh, that's shocking.
And so they decided to come up with a plan, and it's you basically buy into this lottery. But the thing is, if you are chosen as the winner of the lottery in California, you now have to survive till the end of the day, till sundown, or else, and while the rest of the town tries to murder you.
Yep.
It's like the Purge.
Yep.
It's like the Hunger Games
it's like the Purge with a laugh track.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
There are so many weird fight scenes in this that make no sense, but you love every minute of it because you don't need the plot.
They went 9 stunt guys with padding and John Cena and just said,
with Aquafina strapped to his back.
y'all have fun for 5 minutes, and we're just going to film it.
Aquafina she's new in town. She accidentally signs up for the lottery. She didn't even mean to do it.
I was going to say, who'd want to win this thing?
It's $3.8 billion.
Yeah, she wants to win.
Yeah,
so she ends up winning it. She doesn't know why she's getting attacked by all these people. John Cena is a guy who he offers a service to protect you till sundown.
Oh, so he makes a living
serve
at this.
and earn. He gets a 10% cut of your money if he gets you to the winning point.
That's a lot of money,
Okay,
too.
so he's like the guys during the. the gold rush that sold the shovels. So.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. This sounds good. We got a cool discussion coming up here all about Jackpot.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. The Geek Patrol is back.
And I, for one, welcome our new insect overlords. Like to remind them that as a trusted TV personality, I can be helpful in rounding up others to toil in their underground sugar caves.
Oh, yeah, that'll end well. And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmsted and Alan Gilbreth and Alyssa Diggs and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And if you're just tuning in, Brandon was laying out the plot of this latest movie that to me sounds like something right out of the 1970s, how goofy it is. It's a dystopian movie?
No, well, I mean,
it sounds pretty bad.
As dystopian as LA ever is.
All right.
Okay.
There is a fun thing though. It's like
called Jackpot
right,
with
so
John
It's
Cena.
like the cannonball run of winning the lottery.
Yes.
Exactly.
With murder.
Yeah,
So-
with
but
good,
no, Joe,
clean.
it
fun-
is.
yeah.
It's funny that you said it's like because in the early when it's telling you the premise of the story, and it tells you about the whole thing, and it actually says some people call this dystopian, but they're no fun.
Yeah.
Now that's a good quote. I like that. So,
and yes.
so this is a comedy.
It is a comedy.
Oh, yeah.
It is a
Gosh.
comedy. There's a scene involving the really horrible wax museum likenesses of characters, and it's I think the line is like that's supposed to be J-Lo. That looks like a Karen asking for a manager.
Oh gosh.
It gets ridiculous. But Simu Liu plays a guy who actually his name's Lewis. And he runs the premier lottery protection firm. John Cena plays Noel. Noel is a guy who does it.
It's the Ryan Reynolds version.
He's the Wish.com version of Lewis. Thing.
Yeah.
And he's a even though he does have a fee, he's a decent guy.
Wait.
Like if you get to the border, if you get to the Grapevine at the outside of LA County, you quit. You give it up, and that money rolls over to the next lottery, and she is free to go.
Okay, but
He is willing to he won't make her stay just so he can get paid. And if he takes her to the point where she can quit, he doesn't get anything. But he
protected her.
Okay,
Wow.
but this is confusing. What if you win the lottery and then your neighbor kills you? Well, who gets the
neighbor.
your neighbor.
If they
Okay,
make
then
it,
what if somebody kills them?
then they
Is
get
this
it.
an idea to just depopulate? Or?
No. Once the winner has been killed, the chase is over. The person who killed them gets the money. That day is done.
What sort of civic?
We see that at the very beginning with Sean William Scott from such wonderful movies as The Rundown and American Pie and Bulletproof Monk. The movie starts off with him being chased by everyone under the sun. He gets away. He makes it to a spot. I'm not going to tell you about the fights because the fights you have to see them.
Okay.
Like he ends up fighting a lunch lady from like she's got what looks like an Applebee's apron on. He gets to the point where he thinks he's safe, and there's a grandmother and her baby, and he's like, "Do you have any painkillers?" She goes, "I'm a grandma. Of course I have painkillers." She goes to get him out of the. Instead, no. She gets up behind him with a bolt gun. He turns around and she bolts him right in the top of the head. The other people who've been chasing him get into her house, realize she's taking him out. They sit down while they wait for the drone who has been following them to send in the people with the check.
Yep.
And
this sounds insane.
Murray Hill, who is an amazing comedian, plays the de facto like Ed McMahon type character with the giant check.
Yeah.
And yeah. It's so much fun.
I love the
And also,
glasses they put on him.
That's the other. That's the other rule. No guns, no bullets.
Right.
Well,
When you're chasing them out, you cannot use a gun. You cannot put a bullet in them. It doesn't count.
this sounds pretty bad. I mean, it sounds like.
But don't get into the morality of the whole situation, because that's when people on the internet start building YouTube careers, because here's what's wrong with this movie. You guys
Yeah.
suck. You
No,
don't deserve
I'm
to be
just saying,
advertised.
Just
how
have
do you
fun.
make this? I guess you don't care. You just buy into it because it's so goofy.
Yeah.
It's-
All right,
Yeah,
it's
it's one
Death
of those
Race
things-
2000.
You're not.
That's
You
what it-
went to watch it
You're-
because you want
You're
to watch it.
looking for an
It's fun.
escape.
Yeah.
You don't want something bogged down in all the BS rhetoric that we hear on the daily basis. We want something that's ridiculous. But
Eh.
they also let you see that we're headed as a country. This may very well where we end up.
Alyssa, I got a question for you because you know there's this kind of violence, then there's like violence that's on like Saving Private Ryan or
Yeah.
something. What kind of violence can you tolerate? And I guess what affects
I
you?
can do all things through the power of slightly covering my eyes. I don't know. I really crunchy stuff usually is
Ugh.
when I can't escape it by covering my eyes is usually when I am at my limits.
Okay,
It's-
so screaming and whatever.
No, screaming's fine.
See,
Okay.
Just the visceral
She's-
crunch
you
and
gotta-
Well,
squish.
she's desensitized. That's what I'm wondering. What are we doing to our
well,
younger
no,
people? I can't handle too much violence.
I'm going
Okay.
to tell you.
Are you asking in real life? Like if
No,
am I
on the movie
perceiving it
screen.
with my eyes?
You're bringing
Nothing.
this up.
0%.
You're bringing this up. There's more violence in Endgame than there was in this movie. These are literally
Oh,
just
really?
like high-end
Okay.
martial arts fights
Yeah, I was
that
like,
have
it's,
blades involved.
Okay, gotcha.
Like the worst
yeah.
thing that you have.
I don't.
like
Yeah, I don't
said,
think it's like Kill Bill level of blood and
Yeah,
gore.
there's actually not a lot of blood.
Oh, nice.
Kill Bill was actually kind of funny though. I mean, it was
Like-
ridiculous.
Like
yeah.
I'm gonna put this out there, and this is a spoiler, guys. So when you see it, you'll giggle. The most visceral violence in the whole movie is this thing called the phone strike. And when they do a phone strike, all the phones in the area basically explode. And when the phone explodes on this one guy, it sets the crotch of his pants on fire. And how do you put out a fire?
Yeah.
You beat it with a pillow or
Oh,
stomp it
gosh.
out.
Oh,
And John Cena tries to save the man.
Oh, geez. Okay.
And there's
Thanks.
sound.
y'all ever see Baby's Day Out?
Oh, yeah.
I remember that movie.
We got to go back to the TikTok
I've
for
seen
the
that
boo-boo.
before.
Is this movie going to make money?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's already made money. That's the great thing. That's when Amazon makes a movie.
Yeah, you think Amazon's gonna make something that's
They
not gonna
find a
make
way to
money?
get money out of it before it ever shows.
Wait, it's at the theater though?
No, it's Prime.
Oh.
It's on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
Yeah, it popped up on my feed, and I'm like, oh, am I going to click this?
Yes, you
Yeah,
are.
you
All
are.
Yeah, I
right.
did. I was like, oh.
Well, the movie talk's going to continue here on Geek Tank Radio.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. The Geek Patrol is back.
Gods, leave us.
Okay, and welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmsted and Alan Gilbreth and Alyssa Diggs and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. If you're just tuning in, boy, Brandon was discussing a really kind of, the premise sounds awful. It sounds dystopian. It sounds horrifying. But of course, anything, you can make anything funny too, I suppose. But Jackpot with John Cena, get out there and enjoy that. But Brandon,
Yeah.
I was saying it's funny because, we had D23 recently, and I really just don't care about anything going on with that. However, I think I'm correct in saying that some of the best movie experiences recently, at least, in my experience, has been one-off movies. Late Night with the Devil comes to mind. I love that
Late
movie.
Night was great.
It's going to be a cult classic, but I don't see a sequel. Maybe there will be, maybe not. But this movie stands alone. It is,
Yeah.
I
I don't think it's Late Night with the Devil shouldn't have a sequel.
I hope
has
not.
it
I'd
has
be
a
happy with that one.
definitive ending.
Yeah.
It's great. Just like, and then Fly Me to the Moon. What a fun movie that was. Just a good. Have you seen that, Alyssa? It's
Not
good. It's good. It's just a great, fun movie. Kind of classic in a lot of ways. So, and lots of twists. And then the movie I don't want to give spoilers to because I hope you guys will watch it. But Trap. Are you guys going to see Trap? I was very pleasantly surprised.
We have a difference of opinion on a certain part of Trap, but we're not going to give spoilers about it anyway.
Wait, did you see it?
I have not seen it, but I have seen something though that makes me think that one of the comments that you made is absolutely wrong.
What was it?
It was the fact that she is an amazing singer, but her acting skills are not great.
You didn't see the whole movie though.
I didn't need to see the whole movie.
She did pretty good. No, she did good. Are you going to see it, Alyssa?
Yeah, I plan to. I'm excited about it.
First of all, You need to go see anything that's got Josh Hartnett in it. He puts everything of himself in a
Wait, is he the main villain?
Yes,
he was great.
He's the main character.
Okay. I don't want to get spoiled, but the premise, the trailer tells you what it's about.
It's an amazing premise. And, in classic M. Night, fashion, the movie you went in there to see is not the movie you walk out of.
It takes you places that you didn't think about. Yeah. I love movies where the premise is easy to understand. They lay it out. I can follow all the action, and yet I don't know where it's going. I don't know how it's going to end, and that movie had that.
That's one of the things about M. Night Shyamalan's movies that are great. When it's something that he's put everything into. If he's directing somebody else's script or if he's doing a piece based on something else, it's horrible. But when he has
Last Airbender, you mean?
Right.
Yeah.
When he has a chance to just put his full mark on it, that movie can be amazing.
What's interesting, what I learned, because after I watch a movie, sometimes if it's really good, I like to learn more about it, and it's based on a true story. Did you know that?
That's the reason why I ended up finding out more about it than I intended to.
But the premise is loosely based on it. If you haven't seen it,
when you follow like true crime and insane stuff, they go, which is the basis for the new movie Trap, and you're just like, didn't want any spoilers.
No, it really doesn't. I was just gonna say, if you've heard this, then it basically there was a thing where back in the 1985 there was. They had a plot to round up a bunch of people that were wanted for whatever different crimes. So they basically told them they won this. They won a contest for this great. I don't even know, like a concert or something.
I thought they were tickets to a ball game.
It was. Oh yeah, it was tickets to a really hard to get ball.
Because that was the thing is I was watching a video about that incident. Where they were like, basically they were going to these guys who had warrants out there, and they made them the winners of these coveted front, like right at the fields or right behind.
That's what it was. Yeah,
it was a ball game, and everybody, of course, in the days, it's like, hey man, I got free tickets to a ball game. I'm at perfect seats. I'm going
because it was I forget which football team, but it was basically it was one of these where you couldn't get tickets to the game,
and then it's like as they got there, it's like, hey, come over here. We got you set up over here for your. Clink.
Yeah, so they arrested 111 people, but the M. Night Shyamalan, it doesn't play out like that, folks. No, it's nothing like that. But I really enjoyed it. But what I was wondering is, I just like these movies that are just one and done. Personally,
no, absolutely.
I'm tired of sequels. And
I don't have any problem with sequels if it's a movie that warrants one. And when I say it has to warrant one, I don't mean it made $1 bazillion at the box office, therefore we have to make one.
That's why I keep wondering about Joker. Folia do.
I am excited about Joker just because of the fact that it's Arthur Fleck's trial as part of it, and we get to see that world's Harvey Dent. That's what I'm looking for.
Wait. Really?
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
The guy who's talking about him in the trailer about him being a martyr, that's Harvey Dent.
I didn't. How did you know that? Did you look it up?
Because they announced his casting.
Okay. See, I don't look at that stuff. Okay. I wondered about that.
It's not going to spoil it. I just want to see who they've got playing him, or how well they do him and how far they go with it. I also am really intrigued by the idea of Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn.
Isn't she kind of like box office gold, though? Doesn't everybody
crazy enough?
Everything she does seems like
really talented.
She's talented
honestly.
across
she's
the board.
Incredible. I love watching her perform.
Some video popped up yesterday.
She was awesome in American Horror Story.
If you can find it, there's a video of her just playing classic piano, and it's like you don't even realize who it is at first. And it's like, wow.
She's such a well-rounded individual. She really is.
She's got a certain charisma that I don't know, but I'm kind of curious about. I mean, we're gonna all go see it. I just wonder if it'll make $1 billion.
I don't think it needs to, but if it does, more power to it.
Yeah.
I love the idea that the life inside his brain is a musical.
Well, it makes sense. I mean,
that's the life inside your brain.
Sometimes
every time he killed somebody, he comforted himself with music.
I have a never-ending soundtrack in my head when I want to zone people out.
Yeah, it makes your day more.
I don't know. Okay, but give us one and dones. That's what we want. So
yeah.
Well,
we can talk about some of those when we come back. I don't know if we can really get into them. How much time do we have left in this segment, Max?
About 20 seconds. So
Okay. Well, we'll have to come back.
when we come back next week, you mean? So
Yeah.
okay, I don't know. And don't waste your money on Borderlands. Apparently,
Don't go see Borderlands.
Okay. Well, whatever.
But go see Alien Romulus.
Okay.
Ooh,
Sounds
yeah,
good.
I'm excited.
All right. Well, the show's over, you guys. We got to get out of here. So until next week, we are the Geek Patrol, and I am Joe Thorderson.
I'm Alan Gilbreth.
I'm
I'm
Melissa Diggs.
Maximilian.
I'm so sorry.
And I'm Brandon Olmstead. Really sorry that happened.